Yo, YouTube, what is up? Radar 25 back here. My co-host, Michael Mania.
What up, Mox?
Guys, Clash of Champions. We're hitting this our recap and review of Clash of Champions. Every title was on the line. Matches were canceled or changed due to not being cleared by the medical, the doctors, the local medical
staff. All right, medical staff.
Local medical facility they probably took them to. But interesting pay-per-view. It was pretty good. Solid matches from top to bottom. No match really disappointed too bad. Great showing by Zelina Vega. Awesome Roman Reigns, Jey Uso match. The ladder match was tremendous. We're going to get into all that. And remember, everybody last night was vying for a championship or vying to hold on to their championship, but they were also vying to receive a certain amount of enhancement talent rating. So the person we're picking today is a random, obscure WCW enhancement talent, Mike Fever. Now, everybody last night, like I said, was vying to defend their championships or win new ones and also get as many Mike Fevers as humanly possible in our review. So without further ado, let's give them what they want. But before we do, remind you guys to drop a like on this video and previous videos. Hit the subscribe button if you're watching the video and you're not subscribed to the channel. Notification bell so you guys are alerted when new videos drop like this one. Follow me on social media, Instagram, Twitter. Follow my Twitch for my live streams, which soon I will be live streaming, hopefully. And Nintendo 64, Wrestling Games, Revenge, WrestleMania 2000, and No Mercy. Check that out when that drops on Twitch when I go live with that. Hit us up in the Discord. It's in the description below. Without further ado, guys, let's jump right into the video. Our recap and review of Clash of Champions. And Clash of Champions, well, let's start off with what matches were changed and canceled. Canceled match was the women's tag team title match. Nikki Cross got taken out later on, but this match was Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax versus the Riot Squad. That match was canceled because there was no clearance from the medical staff. I guess all four competitors couldn't go or whatever. Nia Jax put on Twitter today that she called WWE liars. I don't know, maybe a joke. I'm not sure, but interesting to see there. Now Nikki Cross was not cleared to compete either, so they had to switch her match, and we'll get to that later on to see who Bayley faces defending her championship. But the first match on the show was the SmackDown Championship match, Tag Team Championship match. Nakamura and Cesaro versus Lince Dorado and Gran Metalik of Lucha House Party. I'm sorry, Lince Dorado and Kalisto. Gran Metalik was not part of the match. It was a team of Kalisto and Lince Dorado out there. I thought it was a very, very fun match, as it should be. Nakamura and Cesaro Cesaro is just like a tag team specialist, right? That's what he is.
With anybody.
With anybody, you gotta make a tag team work. He may work with Tyson Kidd, with Sheamus in the bar, and now with Shinsuke Nakamura. It's just the way he is. I guess maybe that's the reason why I never push him in the singles run, but it's, he's tremendous at tag team work, and his tag teams always get over and they always do a good job. The fun double team moves from Dorado and Kalisto were awesome in this match, as they usually always are. The way the match ended, Nakamura attacked Dorado, suplexed him over the barricade. This allowed the tag team champions to, double team Kalisto. Cesaro swung Kalisto into Nakamura's knee, Kinshasa, and that was the end of the match, retaining champions. Now, interesting to note that the breakup of Lucha House Party did not happen in this match. Maybe they're saving it for SmackDown, but I'm going to give this match 2.5 Mike Fevers.
Okay, yeah, this match was solid. Start off the show. I just going into the match, I really didn't care. The fact that we were building this whole feud in between the entire Lucha House Party, you thought they were going to break up, and it didn't happen. So it felt kind of pointless to even talk about it, to do it on SmackDown, whatever. I don't know, whatever. That's why I'm giving this match a 1.5 Mr. Fevers, just because I didn't. It was a good match. It was a fun match to watch, but I just can't get behind I don't know, the tag team division, SmackDown. I don't know. I really can't get behind it. It just doesn't intrigue me. So I'm sorry. I know that's kind of harsh for the guys, but just the booking didn't really do it for me.
The story itself wasn't all that great going into the match. There was teasing the breakup. Yeah, it was teasing the breakup. It's just the division is so weak right now. It's a low point for the division. So, yeah, they don't have much to compete with. So, let's be in the middle. Okay, you give it 1.5. I give it 2.5. Let's give it 2 Mike Fevers. We'll meet in the middle. Hit 2 Mike Fevers for this one right here. But still, your SmackDown tag team champions Nakamura and Cesaro. We'll see who they go on to face next after this, and when the breakup of Lucha House Party eventually does happen. Like I said, it could happen
Not
in
that
SmackDown.
we really care about it.
Not that we really care, but it's there anyways, right? All right.
Yeah.
So next match on the show, IC title ladder match: AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, and Sami Zayn. Jeff Hardy technically is the champion going into the match. Sami Zayn's staking a claim that he never lost the title and it was taken from him.
He never did.
He never did, which is true. So he has the claim. So technically, there's 2 champions in this match. Both championships are hung above the ring. Now, it's a ladder match. Jeff Hardy. You know what's going to happen here, right? You know what Jeff is going to do. He's going to take nasty bumps off the ladder. He's obviously going to swanton somebody, which he did swanton off the top of the ladder, on top of Sami Zayn with a bridge ladder over the announce table. It's always a nasty bump. Yeah, so you know what Jeff's going to do. He took a lot of crazy bumps here, fell in between the ladder like this and felt like in between there, got thrown off. He was hanging on top of the ladder, and then Sami Zayn kind of tipped the ladder over, and he almost like fell out of the ring with the ladder on top of him, or he did fall out the ring, the ladder almost fell on top of it. It's a lot of nasty stuff, but creative sequence in the match where Sami Zayn gets some handcuffs, and he handcuffs Jeff Hardy to the ladder, but by his ear.
That earlobe thing that they do,
that big ass lobe that he has, right?
Yeah,
that was crazy. That was interesting. Then Sami Zayn trying to handcuff AJ Styles, ends up handcuffing himself to AJ. So very, very smart. It's like a 200 IQ play here because if AJ goes for he can't go for it the championship without bringing Sami Zayn's carcass with him. So eventually Sami Zayn is able. He pulls out a key for the handcuffs, uncuffs himself, and he is, I guess, a double champion, but not really. But he's an IC champion, the rightful, undisputed IC champion. Tremendous match. I'm gonna give this one 4 Mike Fevers just for the creativity. It's probably gonna go down as one of the best matches of the year in terms of creativity, and for a ladder match, stuff you haven't seen before. That's it right there. The earlobe, handcuffing the earlobe to the ladder, and then handcuffing himself to AJ Styles so AJ can't get the belt. Very, very smartly done. An interesting little quirk that they threw in there for that. But Sami Zayn is your new IC champion.
This match was fun. Like we said, this was going to kind of steal the show and be the best match on the card. I think it was the best match on the card, even though there was a great story later on in the show that kind of made that the best match. But, this was a fun match. We saw crashing and burning. We saw guys hurt. Sami Zayn's back was all tore up. It was all bruised up. Everybody put their body on the limit. It was great. Great storytelling in the match. I love that we saw something that we never saw with the handcuff spot, and like that was really weird with the ear. I was like, please don't drop that ladder because I feel like I rip off his entire earlobe. I was like, I don't want to see that, so please don't mess that up, please. Sami Zayn, the biggest a-hole on the roster, he's the most annoying dude on the planet. I called him to win it, so it was good to see him win. This gets 4 Mike Fevers. It's a ladder match. We've seen a million ladder matches in our lives, but when you can show us new things that we've never seen before, at least that I haven't seen before, props to you guys. It was a great way to start off the show. Really got me excited for the rest of the night.
Yeah, this is the problem you run into with these matches. These gimmick matches have been done so often, like Steel Cages. Hell in the Cell has its own pay-per-view. TLCs have their own pay-per-view. TNA had their Lockdown pay-per-view. It was all Steel Cages. You have stuff like that, Extreme Rules. Those matches, you've seen so many of them that you have to come up with new and creative ways to kind of change them up and come out with interesting outcomes, interesting spots, so the match feels different and not cookie cutter to every other ladder match we've seen. They didn't have the problem previously because, ladder matches are relatively new, starting with, Razor and Shawn, and leading up to those TLC match, first time you ever seen crazy shit like that. So now they really gotta, overthink them and kind of just try to figure out as many things they could do to switch these matches up to make them as different and special than the other one. So yeah, shout out WWE for making this one the way they did. Yeah, 4 Mike Fevers for this match. The next match on the show, we had the Raw Women's Championship match, which was bumped from the kickoff show to later on in the night. Zelina Vega versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. Now, shout out to Zelina Vega. A lot of people had never seen her wrestle, especially not in WWE. So you see her, and she's got some chops to her. She's, pretty proficient in the ring. It was a coming out party for her. She had a very good showing. The match was a bit rushed, but overall, it was very well done. And Asuka was able to make Zelina submit and retain her title, but it was a good showing and a good rub for Zelina Vega in this match. She really showed out, did a very commendable job in the ring against an opponent of Asuka's status. The spot wasn't too big for her. She did a very well job. Like I said, the match was a little rushed, so they could have gave it a little bit more time, but it is what it is. But it was very, very good. Asuka after the match offered her hand and showed respect, but Vega, attacked her and then walked off. So heel move from her. So maybe it's a good move to get her off the managerial stuff and get her in the ring because she can handle her own. And they need more women with the loss of Becky Lynch. And the roster's being split. And Charlotte hasn't been around. So you got you don't have a bevy of women to choose from to vie for that top title. So being that the match was rushed, but shout out to Zelina Vega, I'm gonna give this one 1.5 Mike Fevers.
Yeah, this match was fun for what it was. I didn't expect to see like her being so good in the ring and keep up with Asuka because again we haven't seen a lot of her in the ring. If any, really, she's been at a couple of tag team matches. But yeah, it was great little match. Again, like you said, it was rushed. It was quick. We know why it was rushed because later on we find out that Asuka needs to do something else. So we know why it was rushed. So it ruined the story for the match. They couldn't really lay out a fun story in the match, and the whole point was kind of make Vega look like she can, be a foe for anybody in the ring. Like, she can really stand up on her own 2 feet. And she did that. They got that done. That's why I'm going to give it 1.5 stars. Obviously, this isn't done between them. We're going to see more of it. I think they're really going to push Miss Vega to heights, to upper, card in the women's division. So this is kind of where they're going with it. And this was a start. So let's see where this all goes and if they don't mess this up. But she's really good on the mic and she's pretty good, very good in the ring as well. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
Yeah, those two things, the mic skills and the in-ring skill, may catapult her and give her a really quick big push going forward. We could see that happen. So it'd be pretty interesting to see how that's going to work out and all that. But shout out to Zelina Vega. Shout out to the job she did in the ring. And then shout out to Asuka, who we'll see later on in this match, in this night. So interesting stuff there. But you're still your Raw Women's Champion, Asuka, but great showing from Zelina Vega. Next match on the show, which is, I would say, the worst match of the show, the night, is Apollo Crews versus Bobby Lashley. It just never really got going. It didn't hit that next level where you needed it to get to. Ricochet came out with with Apollo Crews. Bobby Lashley came out with MVP on the side. So, we've seen this match before. This match is the night was filled with a bunch of matches that we've seen before, right? So you're not getting a lot of new things other than Zelina Vega versus Asuka for the most part.
Yeah.
Now, they went back and forth, but Lashley dominated, majority of the match. He had a big superplex later on in the match. After that, eventually he will put the Phil Nelson on Apollo Crews, and that's it for Apollo Crews there. And I was surprised. Big reveal from Retribution on Monday night. They get into a big brawl with the Hurt Business, have their debut match against the Hurt Business, and they don't even show up here.
Again, they don't show the pay-per-views. They avoid pay-per-views.
Yeah, you try to destroy the company and everything like that, but now you're contracted, paid employees, and then on top of that, you don't show up on pay-per-views. All right, so, you're destroying the company, but they didn't book you for the pay-per-view. So whatever. It doesn't make no sense. Maybe it's another reason why they'll hate the company even more. We didn't get booked, so we're going to burn this whole thing down. You know what I'm saying?
It never stopped you from attacking the place before anyway. So and they never attacked any show.
So I'm going to give this one half a Mike Fever here, just because it didn't really hit that next level. But the one thing I want to say about Bobby Lashley, I kind of feel with his MMA background and just his look overall, he needs to wrestle a little bit more akin to Brock Lesnar. Not saying copying the exact German suplex style nonstop, but I think he needs to change up the way, or they need to change up the way his matches flow, and he needs to just dominate more people in a physical way that Brock Lesnar would. I think it just doesn't make any sense for a guy that looks like that and has the background that he has, a military background, amateur wrestling, and then MMA, for him not to be that way. But it is what I don't know. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. They missed the boat on him years ago, and they're missing the boat now on him to make him a real monster. I don't know if it's probably a lot of his personality and his charisma, I guess, that isn't really ever really been there. But he looks like a fucking monster. The guy is built out of stone. It's ridiculous how the shape he's in. But yeah, the match was quick. The match had nothing much in there. Yep. It really wasn't It didn't really add. It kind of ruined Apollo because it was a quick match. Apollo didn't really do anything special in the match. He just got the what do they call it now? The hurt lock. It's called now, the Full Nelson. So it just ended like that. I mean, I guess Apollo Crews is being pushed to the wayside. He got the nice push over the summer, but once Paul Heyman got off of Raw, if they removed him from Raw, because he just kept dropping and dropping for me. So it is what it is. It gets half of Mr. Mike Fever because it didn't have much in there. It was kind of just put in the middle of the show and just it was forgettable. Really forgettable.
It was lackluster and it just felt like it was just too many. It's a problem. We have a pay-per-view that has just a bunch of championship matches. None of them, you have to really differentiate them all to make them all feel important. And this one was one of the least important ones. Plus, on top of that, no retribution makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. No. They're just specifically contracted to just be on Monday Night Raw now and nowhere else.
And it sucks. And T-Bag didn't come out and then help any or like destroy anything.
You would have thought he would have came out and attacked the Hurt Business on the outside or something like that. Yeah.
But it just and it sucks because the Hurt Business has been like one of the best things on Raw, and it's just kind of like when they put him in stuff like this, you just can't. They're forgettable at this point. It kind of drops them a little bit.
And then on top of this match, Cedric Alexander was nowhere to be found. He didn't come in. He was come in and interfere and screw over his former friend Apollo Crews, beat up Ricochet on the outside. Nothing like that happened. But whatever. And that match was what it was. Half of Mike Fever's on that match. The next match on the pay-per-view was the Raw Tag Team Championship match: Street Profits versus Andrade, Angel Garza. The match overall, that's the problem with this right here. I'm going to start right off the bat. 1 Mike Fevers for this match just because we've seen it a million times, like a lot of other matches on the show, but this one more than others. We've seen this match a lot. The team broke up for like a night or a week, and came back, and now they get a shot at the titles. But the match, it was a good match, solid match. We all knew there was going to be a solid match between all guys. Interesting finish here, though. Dawkins hit his finisher on Andrade. Andrade seems to kick out. Yeah, but I'm not sure if the ref not the right position. A botched finish counts for 3. Street Profits retain. Now, when it comes to these botched finishes by the referee, I know they're told to treat it as a real contest, right? They got to treat it real. Yeah. So if the guy's not putting his shoulder up, he's going to count to 3, even that's not supposed to be the finish of the match. Now here, it's tough to tell whether these things are planned or they just kind of happen. So. I don't know. Maybe that's another reason, like, they use this as a storyline going forward, is that them getting another shot, maybe finally winning these tag team titles. Match overall, 1 Mike Fevers for this match, just because we've seen it so many times. The match was good, but it's getting redundant after a while. Plus, the hiccup in the story was that they broke up when Zelina left them. They fought each other, and then they come back a week later and they get a title shot, and then that's what it is.
Yeah, just because of that alone, I was going to go in this match not really caring crap about it. So it's just going to get a half of my fever just because of the whole storyline coming up into it. Then this is the 10,000th time we've seen this match in the last month. I'm over it. I don't care. It's hard to get behind. What saved it for me from getting 0 Mike Fevers was the fact that the ending was something we haven't seen a lot. And it was a botch. It was weird. It had me thinking like that. Was that really a mess up? So at least they got me thinking about the match and caring a little bit about what was going on. So that's what I get there. I don't know where this goes. I really don't want to see it anymore, but we're going to see it more because now they're going to I saw Angel Garza on the floor with the medical staff there. I don't know if he went to a medical facility afterwards to get checked on, but he was definitely on the floor. I don't know if he was really hurt or whatever. Yeah. But this match gets half of Mike Fever because it did nothing for me. Absolutely. Okay.
I'll meet you at half of Mike Fever because it is getting redundant and over the nonstop. But the thing is, the best thing about this match was that you're wondering how they're going to play that botch off later on. Like if it's going to pay, like you want to see what they do with it afterwards. Like if they're going to continue it or they're just going to leave it as is. We'll see. That's the most interesting thing about this feud and this match in general, which tells you about the whole tag team division as a whole right now. But enough harping on tag team division. That's the end. Street Profits are still Raw Tag Team Champions. The next thing on the show is Bayley coming out. Talking about Nikki Cross not being cleared but for the medical facility. Before, let me say that Drew Gulak beat R-Truth earlier on the night for the 24/7 championship.
Yep.
Before this match, R-Truth regains it, attacking Drew Gulak in the back. Whatever. That's just I forgot to throw that in there. That's thrown in there. Whatever. I think get rid of that shit already. It's not even as fun as the the hardcore title when they had it 24/7. It's not as fun. Okay, so she comes out, Bayley, and is kind of sarcastically bringing up an open challenge. The person that responds to the open challenge is Asuka. Now she's rocking double duty tonight, two matches. She took on Zelina Vega earlier, and now she's taking on Bayley in this match. they had a few options for SmackDown competitors to take on Bayley. It didn't have to be Asuka. We've seen this match a lot over the entire summer, between Asuka and Bayley and Sasha. Yeah. They could have went with Lacey Evans. I wouldn't say Sasha Banks, but Sasha Banks is there. Like, they could have used her to bring her out and maybe here, but not, they don't want to have the match yet. Alexa Bliss, they could have used. They could have used Tamina again. They could have used Naomi, is a person that we haven't seen in a while. She got that big Twitter uproar, giving Naomi a shot because of that whole dancing thing. Dana Brooks, another one they could have used. There's multiple people they could have used other than Asuka, but Asuka is what we got. Short notice, I guess. Maybe the other girls weren't there, but I don't know. The match was what it was. You've seen this match a bunch. Another one. It's interesting. Bayley grabs the chair that she used against Sasha the past couple of weeks, got the DQ with that. And then as she celebrated, Sasha Banks came in, hit her from behind with the chair, beat her up, with a kendo stick and chairs, and then Bayley runs off. So good. At least the best part about this was Sasha Banks getting in the ring after the match and attacking Bayley after being attacked so much by Bayley. So I'm going to give it 1.5 Mike Fevers. Everybody can go, Bayley and Asuka, but we just seen it so many times. But at least we got to see Sasha get some physicality on Bayley at the end.
Yeah. So another weird, just random. We're not having this match right now because someone wasn't making it clear for whatever reason. No explanation. Yeah. So it was kind of weird. She got a little promo. Asuka came out. Okay, I guess I never felt like she was going to win the match, and she won the match, but it was off a DQ. So basically, this whole thing was just to get Sasha come in there, get her comeuppance, and whatever. It was what it was. It was good. She attacked him with the chair. They had a little tussle in there for, it was a little longer than it needed to be. I felt like I didn't think it needed to be that much of a tussle. I felt like if Sasha would have came in, just kind of was more violent against her, and Bayley didn't get any offense, it would have meant more, or felt a little more, just made Sasha look a little stronger going into the match that they're eventually going to have. But again, it's the beginning of the story of this little, she's back from her injuries, kind of. She's still like the neck brace, but they're kind of still building that up. But yeah, I get half of Mike, one half Mike Fevers. It was a lot of just everything was all over the place. It's just whatever. If she was hurt, got COVID, whatever the hell the case may be with Nikki Cross, just a lot going on. I'm not sure if they can have that many people in the backstage at these events. Maybe that's why they can't bring other women into the match. But yeah, we don't need to see Asuka and her. It wasn't a great match. It was short. The ending was just kind of dumb. But yeah, it was what it was.
Yeah, it was what it was. I mean, we'll see what Bayley and Sasha go after this, where that feud ends up, and maybe Hell in the Cell, something like that. We'll see what happens. Next match on the show was the ambulance match, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. Now, as far as ambulance matches goes, this is probably the best one, or one of the best ones. It's
not saying much, but yeah.
Not saying much, but they beat the living hell out of each other. Now, this is the interesting thing about this. They go backstage. Randy's gonna go for a punt during the match. Then you have Big Show stop him, right? So Big Show comes back, gets his revenge for the most part, right? Yes. Later on, they're fighting in the back. You got Christian showing up and attacking Randy. But none of them attack him to a point where it's like, it's not really going to help him win the match, right? Help Drew McIntyre win the match. Later on, you would see, Randy would throw Drew McIntyre through the windshield of the car, of the ambulance. Really messed up Drew McIntyre there. Later on, Randy would be on top of the ambulance. He'll be turning around and get Sweet Chin Music, and then by Shawn Michaels would push him off the ambulance. He would fall to the ground. They would continue to fight. Towards the end, where the ending of the match, he throws Randy inside the ambulance. Randy, he pulls Randy's head out, and then he punts Randy inside the ambulance, and then Ric Flair is the one driving the ambulance, and then that's the end of that. And yeah, that's the match. The legends coming out was fine. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, they all get to come out, and then Edge was the main one you want to see. Edge was not there, I kind of think like it makes Drew McIntyre look a little bit worse because he needed all these guys to do something to help him win the match. But as an ambulance match, it's a really gimmicky match. So I'm gonna give this one 1.5 Mike Fevers, just for the hell of it, because they did some extra stuff that and they played in those legends except Edge. So it kind of is what it is. Drew McIntyre is still WWE champion.
Yeah. Yeah, this match going in, I'm not excited about this match, but they did a good job. It was entertaining. They went in the back. They kind of went all over the place. I hated the little different level bosses or like going down memory lane of the last couple months. It's like, well, why does Drew McIntyre, the babyface champion, need all the help from these guys to beat the heel? You know, it's like he's bigger, he's stronger, he's younger, blah blah blah. He's supposed to be like the star. I just kind of killed it for me where Christian's coming out and then all these guys are coming out. It just isn't. I don't know. Did not enjoy that part of the match. Sean coming in with a super kick, it felt kind of, I don't know, no one saw him go up there or heard him going up the thing. It was like he had cowboy boots on, he had the footsteps. It was kind of weird. It was okay. It was a 1.5 star Mike Fire type of match. That's what it was. It was nothing great. It was probably the end of Randy for a little bit, I think, just the way it ended, where, you know, if you throw him in the back of an ambulance, you expect him to be gone for a while and, you know, gone for a good period of time.
And he got punted in the head too.
And he got punted right before, and his jaw was, it was crazy, like kicks that were going through his face. So you figure they're just going to put him away for a little bit until Edge comes back, where he's medically cleared to come back and do anything. Obviously, he wasn't able to even show up and do anything. So, you know, and I was kind of upset that he wasn't, because, you know, could have been really cool if he would have, you know, came in super angry, you know, like the good facials of Edge. It probably would have added to the match. But yeah, I didn't need all the bosses coming and helping Drew. Just it didn't feel right, as he is like this monster babyface champion. Just didn't work. So 1.5 Mike Fires. Peters.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot of hoopla for a gimmicky match anyway. So it's like, it wasn't really needed. And Edge would have had the biggest impact if he would have showed up. Nobody really cared about anybody else. You know, you care about Christian, but for the most part, everybody else you didn't really care about. Yeah, it's just stuff that you didn't need. And, you know, we'll see what happens with Drew McIntyre going in after this, if we see Randy Orton for a while or if we don't. And we'll see if he comes back when Edge comes back. We'll see what happens with all that. But there's a lot to go on there. We'll see where Drew McIntyre goes after this and who he faces next. Maybe he faces Keith Lee. Maybe he faces somebody else. But it's interesting to see what will happen after this. Now, next thing on the show, the main event. This, to me, it wasn't the match itself, but everything surrounding it, the way it was pulled off, the way it was done, makes it the best match on the show. The best match in ring on the show was the ladder match, but the best story plus match, all combo put together, is this match right here. It's the ending. Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso, his cousin. This is for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns is the champion. A nice video package before. You know, with all the family members, everybody involved in there and all that. Yeah. You know, it's good stuff. It plays in good because it's an organic story. It's real. It is what it is. I mean, they're cousins. They're related. They're pretty much like brothers, all that. Now, Jey Uso comes out with like a floral thing over his neck. And then Roman comes out.
It's a lei.
That's what it's called. The lei. That's what it's called. Yeah.
Jesus.
Right. So floral
like
lei.
High Chief Peter Maivia.
He comes out first. Here comes the champ, Roman Reigns. Now his new look, right as of right now, I mean, it's probably not fully developed or what's going to be. It's just, you know, he has the same shield pants on, same boots, the same hand stuff, you know, the glove and all that stuff like that. But he's just not rocking a shirt anymore. And he looks tremendous. He's in tremendous physical shape. He's the best shape he's probably ever been in.
I mean, we never know because he always had a freaking vest on. So we could have been better shape 2 years ago for all we know. We don't know.
You can tell how lean he is right now, how shredded he is by his jawline, by his arms. You could just tell. Yeah, you could just tell before that when he had the t-shirt, but now he's rocking no shirt, so you can see how good he looks. He comes out, he has the match. He dominates this match. There's a couple of little flurries from Jey. He does a couple outside dives and gets, you know, Roman on his heels at certain points in the match. But for the most part, it's Reigns destroying his cousin. And the entire match, he's telling his cousin that he wants his cousin to just say out loud that Roman is the tribal chief and the head of the family. That's what he wants. It's an interesting part in this match where he continues to holds Jay's face to the camera and tells him to say that he's the tribal chief. He's everything. He's the head of the table. That WWE is him. He is WWE. He owns this company. Like, basically, in a heel way, talking about everything fans used to say about him before, that this was all given to him. He's just, you know, WWE's his. It's been handed to him. He's the face of the company. It's been forced down his throat. Now he's using it in a heel fashion, which is the smartest thing he could do. And, you know, trying to force Jey to admit all this to him. Jey does not. So he continues the beat down, nonstop beating this man down, a couple spears, great selling by Jey. You hear Jey yelling in pain. There's a lot of jabbering back and forth. This does help that there's no fans around, so you can actually hear this back and forth, the jabbering between both guys. But yeah, you can tell the difference between both guys during this whole match. You see Jay very energetic, fired up for the match, and Roman Reigns stoic in his demeanor the entire match. He beats him down nonstop. Then out of nowhere, Jimmy Uso comes out in a scene from Rocky. It seems like Vince was watching Rocky IV before this match started because it plays so much into it, right? So here comes Jimmy coming out with the towel. And, you know, he tells his brother, I'm going to throw this in, man. I'm going to throw this in. Stop. This guy's crazy. Stop it. I'm going to throw it in. He doesn't want Jimmy to throw it in. Roman starts beating down Jay in the ring. Jimmy throws the towel in. The match is over. Jimmy comes in the ring, grabs his brother's head as he's on his knees, just like Rocky did to Apollo. And Roman Reigns stands there staring down both members, especially Jimmy now, like Ivan Drago. And then he has Paul Heyman put the flower lay over, Roman Reigns. He's the tribal chief, and Jimmy admits to this. He says, "You are the tribal chief, man. That's what you want to hear. That's what you are. Now stop," basically. So story, everything around it, the pageantry of it, the storyline, the camera work, all of it, tremendous. I'm going to give this one 4.5 Mike Fevers just on story and everything like that alone.
I mean, you said it perfectly. The only thing I'm going to add to what you said was this is the evolution of heel Roman. This is kind of where it's starting to like grow. We're seeing it build every weekend. Doing such a great job of slowly booking of who heel Roman and what this character is going to be, and we're seeing like this is the origin story that we're seeing of what this is ultimately going to become, and it's super exciting. Roman is, you could just tell he's having fun. He's a natural heel, but I think he always felt that of his look. Just the way he's always come off, it was more of he needed to be a heel, and finally Vince pulled the trigger. It took him like 5 years too long.
Yeah,
but whatever, we have it, so we're just gonna enjoy it, and I loved it. I totally just loved it. The match did whatever. It didn't matter what they did in the ring. It was entertaining because of the fact of him destroying him and the facial, and like the fact the crowd wasn't there, they used it to their advantage because you could hear them speaking to each other, and and Roman, telling him, just say it. I'm the chief. Just say it. It was awesome. It was amazing. It felt real. It felt like you were intrigued. It wasn't campy. It wasn't like just soap opera. It's soap opera, but it wasn't like cheap acting and just like cheapness. It felt real. You could feel all three guys did a great job. Paul Heyman did a great job as well. This is 4.5. Mike Fevers, this is probably like the highest we've ever given a review of a match, and it wasn't even because of the match. It was just the storytelling was so good. They haven't done a storytelling like this in such a long time that I can't remember the last time I was just enthralled with something. So hell of a story. I can't wait to see what's next. Well, it would have gave this a 5 for me if Alexa Bliss would have came out, or the Fiend would have came out right at the end or something like that. I was waiting for it because that would have just told us what's next. But they'll keep that in their back pocket, and I'm just excited to see where what is heel Roman, what he becomes, what he ultimately is, where this whole story goes to. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm ready for the ride.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, but it's pretty much shot for shot Rocky IV, right? When he kills Apollo, that's pretty much what they did at the end. It was pretty much shot for shot. Now, as per usual, when we talk about great camera work, great storytelling and stuff like that, we harken back to Cody, sorry, and Lance Archer. This is the stuff they should have done in that feud, right? When that Cody and Lance Archer feud happened, this is the stuff they should have done right here, right? It's built in. So enough of that. Tremendous stuff. 4.5 Mike Fevers for that. That's the final match on the show. Appreciate you guys for watching. That is our recap and review of Clash of Champions. Remember, for those who work for you, do not do the job.
Later, Mox.